This fine gentleman has asked me why I'm marching with the British flag. I think this is something that would be relevant to this country and everyone who lives in it. I want young men and women of the British nation to be inspired when they see an old man with a big beard marching with the British flag. Inspired with a belief in the patriotic love of the British nation. Why is that important, you may ask? It's been said by the commanding officer of the British Armed Forces, Sir Patrick Saunders, that we face the prospect of a Third World War, and that this war will be, the theatre of this war will be mainland Europe, that the adversary of such a war will be Russia, driven by a desire to create a greater Slavic Russian homeland, similar to the desire of Adolf Hitler and the Nazis to create a greater Teutonic Germanic homeland. Now, we as a British nation, it has to be said, historically, have never been quite prepared when a war breaks out. And I'm not saying that we are in the right or the wrong on this with Russia, but what I am saying is that if a war breaks out, we as a nation have to be prepared. Regardless of whether that war was a righteous war or an unrighteous war, when it comes upon us, as it will do, we have to be prepared. And one of the ways of preparing the nation is for young men and women of the British nation to be possessed with a martial spirit, discipline, a willingness to make a sacrifice for the collective good of the nation. And I think that's something which I would want to inspire young men and women with. Now, when this war happens, rightly or wrongly, we're going to be caught up in it. In the First World War, the British were suddenly caught up in a war. Second World War again, with the invasion of Poland by Adolf Hitler, caught up in a war. So if we're caught up in a war, we want to be well prepared. We want to have a collective patriotic sentiment amongst the young men and women of the British nation in the same way that we did during the Second World War. And now there will be many roles for young people. Not all of them will join the armed forces. Some of them will be involved in civil defence of the homeland. Others in firefighting, others in medical, others in food distribution to the elderly, the sick. So there are going to be lots of different roles for the young men and women of the British nation when this war happens. And I have a strong feeling, regrettably and sadly, that it will happen, sadly. So preparing the young people of this country for the prospect of a Third World War and all the difficulties.
I did.
How you doing, mate?
It's
You
going
alright?
to be important.
Yeah.
It's good to meet you.
Yeah, it's good.
There we are,
Just
sir.
keep
Marvellous.
Just
Marvellous.
keep safe.
Thank you.
Marvellous. Well, there we are, gentlemen. I'm delighted. Always a pleasure. This wonderful young man has filmed my march. I hope it inspires young men and women of the British nation to pick up the flag and march behind the old man with the beard. Thank you, sir.